No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, March 15th, 2022. I'm a little upset, guys, because of something that happened on this Dynamite. Some of you know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment on the YouTube channel in the chat room. Now, shout outs go to the early birds. Jeff Meacham is in the house. We have a mod, thankfully, to handle the trolls. City by the Bay, Dr. Dakota Scorpio, Nick Lavin, Matthew, Dr. Dakota Scorpio, who sent in a $2 super chat. I will get to that in just a second. Darren G, Dave Scheffler, Calvin Bowman, Walter Cruz, of course. Thank you all for tuning in early. Now, let's get to Dynamite. We kicked off in a big way with MJF's bar mitzvah. He had several women with him coming down to ringside. The graphic for his entrance said Jewish AF. He made out with one of the women. There were balloons, confetti. Crowd was chanting MJF, so he had to go heel on them very early. He said that these people used to think that Bret Hart was entertaining and Shawn Michaels was much better. And of course, that got the heel heat. He said Judaism is the only religion that matters. And now, after beating Bryan Danielson, he is the Iron Man. He brought out several people for the big celebration, the tradition with the chair. MJF sat in the chair. They circled around. They lifted him up in the chair. Fun moment we were having here. But unfortunately, Jungle Boy had to ruin it. Now, I'm sitting at home and I am booing Jungle Boy for ruining this great moment. How dare that son of a bitch. But Jungle Boy came down to the ring, and then he was quickly interrupted by Sammy Guevara. We have a little pattern here. Something is connecting because MJF, AEW original, Sammy Guevara, AEW original, Jungle Boy, AEW original. And just as Sammy was coming in to start talking, we had Darby Allin show up. These four guys, of course, the four pillars of AEW. Now, they even had their own t-shirt. Fans have been talking about maybe the four of them having a match at some point. And this segment certainly leads us to believe that we will be seeing this match at some point in the future. They all got on the mic and said at the same time they want a title match, which little cheesy in my opinion that they would all say the same line at the same time. It was a little much. Didn't really feel organic, but whatever. Anyways, they each talked. Jungle Boy talked about how MJF cheated in their first match at Double or Nothing during the pandemic. And ever since then, Jungle Boy's been grinding. He's been on Dark, Elevation, Rampage. MJF has never been on those shows. And I'm thinking to myself, well, because MJF is actually a star and he's a smart star. Now, MJF was called out for doing the same hokey 20-minute bullshit promos for the past 4 years while other guys are busting their asses to get 60 seconds. Hey, Jungle Boy, I got news for you. That's life. MJF's an entertaining guy. That's why he's on TV. So Jungle Boy's trying to cut this babyface promo, and I'm like, dude, MJF's right. He's entertaining. That's why he gets 20-minute segments. He's smart. That's why he's not on Rampage and Dark. I mean, come on. They're trying to make MJF the heel here, but I'm thinking to myself, MJF knows what the hell he's doing. So anyways, it was Sammy Guevara's time to talk. And he said he's going to turn the bar mitzvah into a recircumcision, which the crowd oohed and awed for. And again, Sammy said he's been grinding on the indie scene all these years while MJF just manipulated his way to the top. And then Sammy started with the inside references, said that he was just supposed to be a job guy / bump guy for the Inner Circle. And yes, they basically buried Dark and Rampage too, for that matter, by saying that, MJF is too good for that show, which quite frankly he is. But yeah, so basically Sammy Guevara using the insider terms here, and said that he never needed the machine to push him. He just did his thing and pissed everybody off. MJF pisses off people because he's a good heel. Sammy just legitimately pisses people off. And MJF had a little dig at Sammy, said that Sammy found some time away from locker room brawls to actually come out there and talk, which I thought was amusing. Another inside reference, though. Then it was Darby's turn to talk, and Darby talked about dropping out of school to become a professional wrestler, and said that AEW gave him the opportunity to be him, and that's why there's not going to be a bidding war with him, because AEW just lets him do his thing. In WWE, they'll mold him and they'll put him in shackles. He didn't say that, but that's what he's thinking here, and that's what he's implying. And then Darby started talking about the wrestlers that go on Twitter and cry about wanting to get out of their contract, like MJF. The bidding war of 2024. And this was another interesting line, because I'm thinking, well, now you're burying AEW because you're basically admitting that a ton of wrestlers want to leave. So this was a really fascinating promo. Like, it was entertaining, but yeah, they were trying to break the fourth wall a lot, and I feel like it kind of made AEW look very low rent. So I'm not sure how to process all of this. Darby probably did the best job of everybody on the mic, and said that AEW means more to him than anything else, and that's why he should be world champion. And then MJF had another line about Sammy Guevara, said that maybe Sammy is going to propose to a new woman in 7 months. And Sammy said, that's funny coming from MJF, because MJF's fiance left him, which was funny, but I feel like that line was already used a couple of weeks ago by Bryan Danielson. Anyways, MJF said that he never needed to be in AEW daddy daycare. Darby had Sting to mentor him, and Sammy had Jericho, and Jungle Boy had Christian. MJF did not need anybody. I guess we forget about the Cody Rhodes storyline. MJF said he's the only pillar that can keep the place up. And then he used a little line from Jim Cornette. Thank you. Screw you. Bye. He pie-faced Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy attacked him, and MJF was sent out of the ring, and there was a table on the outside with a big birthday cake to celebrate MJF's birthday and the party here. And of course, MJF went into the cake. So we all know that this was where things were going to go with this segment. It was very entertaining. It was interesting. I will say that much. And at the end of the day, I am looking forward to this Four Pillars match. I mean, they did accomplish that. Like, they built up that match. Now the question is, when are they going to do it? Double or Nothing is over 2 months away. Are they going to do each guy has to advance, each guy has to win 5 matches or some crap like that? I almost feel like they should just do this match before Double or Nothing. But I mentioned Kenny Omega as a possible contender last week, and now I think they're going in a different direction. More on that here in just a few. But yeah, I would like to see the match. I just feel like Double or Nothing is a long time, and it's going to be a very slow build-up if that's where they're going. But really strong opening segment. Felt more like a WWE segment, though, than an AEW segment with lots of talking, a long talking segment, interruptions, the whole 9 yards, balloons, confetti. That's usually a WWE thing. So anyways, we had our first match of the evening. We had the Combat Club, or even the Blackpool Combat Club, and their heels now also, versus Hangman Adam Page. We had the Dark Order members, Evil Uno, and I guess former member Stu Grayson, who left AEW. And to show you how much I pay attention, I wasn't even sure he was gone. Like him, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, they're all interchangeable, in my opinion. So anyways, Combat Club, I'm just going to call them the Combat Club since they're not really Blackpool anymore. Regal's gone, long gone. They were cheating. Moxley used Uno's jacket to choke him. Stu Grayson, he's from Canada, so he got a big pop, and he got in some offense, but then the Combat Club did a triple team spike pile driver to Grayson on the outside, and eventually Hangman Adam Page tagged in, started cleaning house. Things broke down, and Moxley and Page went at it, which the crowd was very invested in. Dark Order, they were back in, but then Wheeler Yuta used the ring bell on Page while the referee was distracted, and that basically knocked Page out for the rest of this. And the Dark Order, 2-on-3, they held their own for a little bit, but eventually the numbers game caught up to them. Moxley submitted Grayson and kept the hold on after the match because he is a heel now, and the rest of the Dark Order ran down to the ring. Good match here. They're establishing the Combat Club as heels. I'm all for it. Good stuff here. No Moxley blood. He did not bleed this week. Everybody note it down. March 15th, 2022 or 23. No bleeding from Jon Moxley. We had the TBS title match, the Open Challenge, and it was Jade Cargill versus Nicole Matthews. Not the person people were expecting. But wait, it was a quick squash match, pump kick, Jade won in like a minute. And then afterwards, she got on the mic. Renee Paquette was in the ring, and Jade threatened her and then asked if there's anybody else left. Is that all Canada has to offer? And that's when Taya Valkyrie came out to make her debut. She was rumored to be the person debuting. She actually downplayed it and said she was going to be home, but of course she was working everybody. Taya Valkyrie in AEW, and she got in the ring, confronted Jade, and Jade left, but Jade's baddie Layla Gray was in there, and she got attacked by Taya. She hit the Jaded on Layla Gray as Jade was out there mad that her finisher was being used. So nice debut here. They decided to do this angle instead, so Taya did not have to job to Jade in her first match, and they can build up a match. And honestly, I think they should do a title change. Like the Jade undefeated streak, I'm kind of over it at this point. I think it's time to move on. And Calvin's going off topic here. This is AEW, Calvin. This is not WWE. No, I did not watch the Kane biography yet. I just finished the Jake Roberts one, and now I'm on China. I'm actually going in order. I'm trying to get through them. But anyways, stick to the topic. We are talking about AEW. So anyways, moving on here, we had Ricky Starks interviewed backstage, and he talked about Juice Robinson and how Juice might bring the Bullet Club, but the Bullet Club is not relevant. They were relevant in 2015, and Ricky's ready to fight anytime, any place. We had a QTV segment, which I guess is not supposed to be like Goldust TV or GTV, but rather it's supposed to be like a parody of TMZ. Like QT Marshall had his crew in this office and they were talking about Wardlow. And I guess in the storyline, Aaron Solo was the one that broke into Wardlow's car. I'm still not sure if that was actually a real break-in and they just made it a storyline. But anyways, whether it was legit or not, in the storyline, it was Aaron Solo. And then they talked about how last year MJF stole Wardlow's momentum, and now Wardlow has nothing. What's next for Wardlow? They said the same thing as Batista, but not quite as good. And then Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs, said, "Welcome to Will's world, bitch." I mean, I'm not even sure what to make of any of this. I really don't care at this point. Wardlow has gone so far down, and I feel like QT Marshall being aligned with Powerhouse Hobbs is just going to bring down Hobbs. With all due respect to QT, I know he's very well liked in AEW, but I'm not feeling it, guys. I'm just not. They're turning the TNT title into like a lower card comedy routine, which I guess if that's what you want to do, then so be it. We had Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy, speaking of comedy, for the now international title. It is no longer All Atlantic. Jay Lethal had his arm in a sling and he was sent to the back right away. We had a Shockmaster cosplayer at ringside, by the way. Just had to throw that out there. And Jeff Jarrett had the early momentum and he was mocking Orange Cassidy's kicks. And he also, to get heat, put on the sharpshooter in Canada. Orange Cassidy reversed it into a sharpshooter of his own. And you had Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt out there providing the outside interference. Singh took a cheap shot. And then later on, when Jarrett was in trouble, they pushed the rope so Jeff Jarrett could grab it. And Jarrett eventually got the figure 4 on, but Orange Cassidy broke out of it. And then the referee got knocked down in the melee. Aubrey Edwards ran down because Jeff Jarrett was about to use the guitar. She stopped him from using it. And then Orange Cassidy did the Eddie Guerrero and act like Satnam Singh attacked him. And that's when Aubrey kicked them out. The other referee came to. He was back in it. And then all of a sudden, Jay Lethal showed up. He had a miracle. He was recovered from his injury. Of course, he was faking it, but it was a miracle. He recovered. He used the Golden Globe, and Jarrett went for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Orange Cassidy kicked out of the Golden Globe shot, and then Trent Beretta ran down to help out. And then Orange Cassidy avoided the stroke, hit the orange punch, got the 1, 2, 3 victory to become the brand new international champion. And I feel like, as Jeff pointed out here, the international title feels like a bigger deal than the TNT title at this point. It's kind of crazy to think about. So good match here, entertaining match. I'm bummed that Jeff Jarrett lost because we were going to have the biggest celebration. We were going to put that MJF rebar mitzvah to shame with a celebration if Jeff Jarrett won. We would have had Big G on the No DQ review. We were going to have drinks. We were going to have pyro on video. We were going to have a big celebration, and now it's not going to happen. So I'm very let down. I was going to put a huge budget in for the greatest No DQ review celebration of all time, and it's not to be. So damn you, Jeff Jarrett, for not winning that title. We had a rap video from the Acclaimed. Not much to say about it. It was a Max Caster rap video. We then had the Outcasts I'm guessing they're not the social outcasts. They're just the outcasts. Saraya, Toni Storm, and Ruby Soho. Ruby talked about how the grass used to be greener in AEW. But then a couple of bitches pissed over that grass, and Saraya said without them, there would be no women's division. I could have sworn there was one before they showed up, but okay. They are heels, so yeah. Toni Storm called the people fat, said she's going to be making changes to the division. They're going to go through everyone one at a time. And then we had Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker run down to the ring. There was a big brawl, but the numbers were against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And that's when Riho, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale ran down to make the save, making it 5-on-3, which is very interesting. I mean, you do the math here. Looks like the Outcasts might need 2 more people to even the odds. Now, again, we don't know who it's going to be. The Garcia twins, Nikki and Brie. Nikki flat out said they're not going to AEW, but Taya Valkyrie said she was not going to be on Dynamite. So when a wrestler says they're not going to be somewhere, doesn't necessarily mean they're telling the truth. They're working you, perhaps. Now, maybe not, but of course they're going to deny it one way or another. Maybe 2 more former WWE stars. Maybe, man, I'm trying to think who's there. I can't even think because they haven't been on TV for so long. Ember Moon. They could put her in there, maybe. We'll see. So anyways, this was at the 9:20 spot. I still don't really care about it. I don't like the name Outcasts because I think of the social outcasts, and they were like bottom tier in WWE. So I'm always going to think of the social outcasts every time they come out there. I can't unsee it. City by the Bay said maybe Mandy Rose. Yeah. Maybe Trinity, maybe Mercedes Moné, but that could be wishful thinking. We'll see. And then we had our main event of the evening, which was quite the segment. They got a pretty long period of time here. This show moved at a nice pace, I will say that. House of Black versus the J.A.S. versus the Elite. Jericho's dad, Ted Irving, was at ringside. And of course, the Winnipeg hometown guys, Jericho and Omega, got huge pops. And they kept teasing them, colliding in the ring, that they were going to have a confrontation. And then like everybody got in the ring and broke it up before they could fight. So they were teasing that for quite a bit. And during the match, the big man Brody King was dominating a lot throughout this match. And you had Omega and Jericho actually working together to get Brody King out of the ring. And then Jericho and Omega finally went at it. They did the hockey fight. Things were breaking down. The Bucks were doing the super kick party. Brody King then came back in, hit a double lariat to the Bucks. And we had 2 commercial breaks. Jericho and Omega went at it again after the second commercial break. And they double suplexed Brody King. And things started breaking down again. Jericho Appreciation Society got the upper hand. But then House of Black took over. Jericho was all by himself. They hit Jericho with the Dante's Inferno. However, Kenny Omega saved Jericho. Jericho then got the baseball bat, was going to use it on Brody. He actually did use it on Brody. Brody somehow managed to kick out. And then Malachi Black came in, hit Jericho with the Black Mass. Jericho fell out of the ring. Garcia had tagged in at some point here. Garcia, though, fell victim to Dante's Inferno, 1, 2, 3, still tag team champions, House of Black. Match was really good, as you would expect with these guys. Hot crowd, although they died for the finish. Like, they were not happy. Like the wind got knocked out of their sails completely at the end. It kind of reminded me of WrestleMania 31. I was there for Sting versus Triple H. Crowd was into the match, but then when Triple H won, like, the place just went completely silent. Like, the air just completely deflated. And that's what happened here. Now, do I think it was the right finish? Anywhere but Winnipeg. I mean, that was the downside to booking this match, because House of Black should not by any means be losing the titles. However, you're in Winnipeg, and the crowd really wanted the hometown person to win, and it did not happen. And I agree with Matthew. I think they should have just done Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega in a singles match, with the winner getting a tag team title match like next week or something. I mean, for next week, they only announced one match, and it's Hook versus Stokely Hathaway. That's their hook, no pun intended, or maybe it was, for next week's show. That's the match. They could have done Omega versus Jericho in Winnipeg. Winner gets the tag team title match on their behalf. I think that would have been a better idea, but Tony Khan is the Booker of the Year, or he was. He probably will be again, because the people that vote on that, they love AEW and not so much WWE. So, yeah, finish was what it was. I mean, the right team won, but I think it should have been done a little bit differently. Afterwards, we had a huge brawl. Jake Hager was out there, and then Adam Page and the Dark Order, they were brawling with the Combat Club backstage, and that brawl spilled into the ring. So there was a whole point in this, because as Page was surrounded by the Combat Club, you had the Elite come into the ring and stand across from the Blackpool Combat Club, with Hangman Adam Page right there in the middle. So they did the big tease for the Elite being fully reunited. And as I said earlier, I was thinking Omega versus MJF, but it looks like we are going to see a different direction here. I'm thinking Blood and Guts. This was a Blood and Guts tease. The Elite going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, and we'll see if Bryan Danielson comes back and heals it up with them or not. But yeah, they could do 4-on-4 Blood and Guts. I could definitely see that happening. That seems to be the direction. So all in all, very good Dynamite. Not top tier in my opinion. Like, it was a very entertaining show, but there were a few things I would have done differently. So I am giving the show a B+. Very good Dynamite. Opening segment with the Pillars, worth checking out. Main event was very entertaining, and all in all, very solid show. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Much love and appreciation. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Please spread the word. Tell a friend about the NoDQ.com channel. And by the way, Dr. Dakota Scorpio sent in a $2.20 super chat, says, "This is for Big G, as his hero did not win tonight." Very tragic. Like, I might have given this show an A- if Jeff Jarrett won that title. Not that I think Jeff Jarrett should be holding a championship in 2023, but the reaction of Big G would have been one of the greatest moments of the year, and we did not get that. But yeah, still a very good show. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Jeff thought it was more of a B show than a B-. So, not everybody loved it. And, wasn't the best, but I had some entertaining moments that I got out of it. And like I said, I felt like the show moved at a nice pace too. See you later, everybody. Take care. Follow Jeff Meacham at the JeffMeachamNetwork.com, JeffMeachamNetwork.com, and you can get all the updates. Follow him at _Jeff Meacham. for the latest stuff that he's got going on. Take care, everybody. Much love to everybody. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.